And good evening, everyone, and welcome out to Quebedeaux on a Sunday evening where it is our inaugural episode of Coach Speak. It's a show that we're going to have on Sunday evenings from Quebedeaux right here. And again, a big thanks out to John Valenzuela, Chef John, and his family and his group here that open up their doors for us. That door right back there, as a matter of fact, that's behind us that you see out there. But what we'll do is bring together all of the folks that bring you high school football on Friday nights under the 446 Sports umbrella, and we'll sit back and we'll talk about the games. We'll talk about what's coming up and just anything that goes on. And so we'll take this opportunity to introduce the folks that are here, and we'll start on my right. And it's good to be back with my broadcast partner of about something years that we've been doing this, Rich Dupree, who is the voice of the Pineville Rebels. Rich, welcome aboard.
Hey, this is a great opportunity, great venue to eat food at.
Yes.
And we'll do that at some point.
Indeed,
and,
indeed we will.
But it's also a great opportunity to come together and support someone that supports local athletics with Quebedeaux. And this is a great way to do things. It takes a little time after a game on Friday, and coaches don't break down film till Saturday. We don't have a chance to break down film till Saturday, and to come back Sunday and put a wrap on the previous Friday nights, and in this case Thursday nights games, and to look ahead to next week's games, you strategically put yourself between
I did.
Mr.
I didn't
Wolf
want any kind of chaos going on here. So.
But, it's a great opportunity. We appreciate the Quebedeaux folks here, the Valenzuela family, and yet another great opportunity to talk about high school sports in a wrap-up format.
It is, in fact, it is our 10th broadcast of the week. We broadcast 10 shows and going to look to add an 11th before this week is out. So we're excited about that. We've got some news that will break soon. Joining us on Rich's right is the voice of the Tioga Indians, Billy French, who joined us. And, Billy, you guys had a big night out there on Thursday. Wait, I think y'all just scored again. Is that –
We've counted it up, of course, Chuck and I, and glad to be here, of course. But that first quarter was 52 minutes long. With scoring. It lasted a long time, but we had a good night. Then we got to go back and listen to Pineville and Ash. Of course, I was checking the Menard score while we were playing. We had a lot of time that night. So I was checking back and forth trying to get everything good. But it was a good Thursday night. It's a way to kick off a season for sure. Looking forward to the rest of the way, and we finally get to go on the road this coming up week.
We'll get into some highlights about that here in just a moment. We'll welcome on Tom Boucher. Wait a minute. I'm turning and looking at Tom Boucher, and that's in fact not Tom.
You need to get your eyes checked.
Tom has abandoned us. That's brought to you by Wallace Eye Associates. Anytime you talk about my eyes, you have to bring up Wallace Eye Associates. It's in my contract. No, but we bring in John Wolf, who is the analyst for Tom Boucher, and Tom is on hiatus today. I don't know. I think he's off in Texas is where he's at. But, John, it's good to have you back up off of the field and in the booth as part of that Menard Eagles broadcast. So welcome.
Thank you, Doug. It's fun to be here. Something new for me this year, absolutely. And had fun with Tom the past couple weeks. Definitely different view, different perspective, and really enjoyed it. Wasn't the outcome we wanted Thursday night with the Eagles, but early in the year, so got a lot to look forward to.
It happens. We had a couple of teams pick up some victories, a couple had some hard-fought ones, and we'll get into all of that. Of course, we will be joined by phone by Scott Mills, who is the voice of the Buckeye Panthers. We'll reach him at the bottom of the hour, probably around 5:40. Now, if you're just tuning in tonight, of course, our show, Coach Speak, will normally be in the 6 o'clock hour on Sunday evenings. This one we've moved up a little bit so you can watch us. Didn't want you to have to choose between watching LSU and Florida State and watching us talk about high school sports. So,
anyway. Billy and I were going to leave at 6:30.
We're out of here.
So,
we're gone.
I'm glad you decided to move it up.
You're not invited, Doug, but we're going somewhere.
John,
we're going somewhere.
Look, the commercial break, and I come back, it's like, I don't know where everybody's at. Of course, out there in production land, Chuck is back with us, and he joins that. Bottom of the hour, we're going to have a treat for you as well. We'll hear from Brett McCormick, who keeps up with all things stats and all kinds of the pictures, the photos that he's taking from around the way. I don't see how there's so many pictures in so many different schools, but we'll talk to Brett McCormick at the bottom of the hour as well. So we've got an action-packed show for you, things. But just to give you an idea of what we're doing and what we're about, we broadcast high school sports. We do a couple of hundred games a season on there, between the school. You're doing basketball, softball, baseball. We've done some stuff with ASL Athletics and all of that, so that hopefully we bring you an experience to keep back with. You go onto our YouTube page, and it's 446sports.com, or 446 Sports. Just search that, and you'll find that without a doubt. I did want to say a big shout out to the folks at Polos and Plaids.
Yes.
Those are the shirts that we're wearing here. You see those. You can find those at Polos and Plaids. That's the logo that's on the side. They make school uniforms and school gear and all that. So if you're in Alexandria and you are going down Jackson Street, they are on that side where Papa John's Pizza is. If you just look that little shopping center to the right where Craig's Cleaners is, they're in that section. If you're looking at Max Grocery off Jackson Street, you can see right where it's at. But go see Michelle and the folks like that. I've already had a couple of orders off of this Ash shirt as well. So we invite you to go by. It's actually cool, and it's pretty lightweight.
It is, yes, and we've got them in the team colors,
That's right.
so that's nice as well.
So
And
we can go fishing if we need to.
yeah, that kind of
prepared.
type of thing. But the other neat thing about it is that it gives your broadcast team an actual team look,
Right.
Because players on the field are wearing the same uniforms. Well, your broadcast team is wearing the same uniform, so it took a little adjustment for my partner Nathan because he's used to tucking his shirt in.
Right, this is
I had
no
to
tuck.
teach him how to wear his shirt untucked. So, but as we were walking out late Friday night, I said, "So what you think?" He goes, "I like this." I said, "You see?" So there you go.
Sometimes change takes a
good.
little bit of time, and
Yeah.
it's off the better. But we're excited to have Pineville and Tioga under the 446 Sports umbrella. A little bit of growing pains, I guess, for you as you're getting used just to the different equipment. But your broadcast and the coaches show Thursday night sounded great.
Well, thank you. There's a lot of moving parts, and thankful to have a broadcast partner that's experienced in I don't know what you would say, the technical side of things.
The technical side of things.
I was going to say the
That's-
nerd-esque side of things.
Don't say that.
But he does a great job with that, and he and Chuck have been talking and texting and trying to get it all together. But certainly appreciate it. It's a great opportunity for Pineville, and I know for Tioga as well. It's different though because some folks change is difficult. But, technology has brought it to a point that we can do so many more things on 446 Sports, and we're just starting to scratch the surface.
Well, speaking of scratching the surfaces, Pineville jumps out and scratches the surface to the 2023 season with a win. And look, I went back and I try to listen to all of these games as I can. And the one thing at the end of the game that I heard, and I was looking for the wisdom from all of that from you in the call, and he says, I finally get to gloat when I get in there on the show. So here's your opportunity. We're going to let you lead things off. Tell us about that Pineville High School, because what a victory it was. Even Coach Bell, in his comments in the post-game, said, wanted to tell the kids to act like they've been there, but a lot of them haven't. So what a big night it was for the Rebels.
Well, it was, and, Pineville struggled through an 0-10 season last year, and so, in what was Coach Bell's second year, and it's you don't do it all in one season, and Coach did a lot of work in the offseason overhauling his coaching staff. Actually have some kids starting on the team that, he literally got out of the hallway that they weren't playing football for whatever reason, and some kids that have come out and certainly showed a passion toward that. But, you open at home against Winfield. The Tigers have a very storied tradition. That's about, someone was saying that's all they do in Wynn Parish is play sports. But the team came in, and, the thing, too, about everyone having your cell phone numbers, that folks are texting you different things while you're trying to call a game. But a friend of ours that was texting me said, does Winfield have our playbook? And they actually run a very similar offense as Pineville with an athletic quarterback, but that certainly likes to run and pitch and hand off to fullbacks and wingbacks a lot. So the two offenses look very similar. Pineville jumped out to an early 2-score lead, and then Winfield did get their legs under them, scoring before halftime. So the score at halftime was 14-6. But Pineville with what will be our Southern Air cool play of the game that we'll talk about a little bit later, a scoop and score by our player of the game, who we'll announce in just a little bit as well. Certainly made the difference. Pineville wins that game 20-14.
That was
and a great crowd, by the way, from Winfield that made the trip down 167.
There has to be a brand new term for that, because I don't think he scooped and scored. I think he snatched and scored, didn't he? Took it right out.
Well, scoop sounds much better than snatch, but that may be what you do to some of John Valenzuela's food a little bit later on. But I prefer to scoop. But either way, he scored. And when you see the play in just a little bit, when we show it to you, you'll see how the running back's going one way, and then the defensive back's going the other way, and I'm trying to follow the play, and I was just as shocked as just about everybody else, including the official, because there was no one within 30 yards of him as he went into the end zone. So great play, nice for the high school there. Great student section, but couldn't fire the cannon. Could not fire the cannon due to the fire burn ban restrictions. So everyone had to make the loud boom themselves. Fortunately, we had a pre-recorded version of the boom, so
no more of Randy James's 1, 2, 3 boom.
No, he did that too.
He still did.
I figured it was just Randy in the corner going boom,
and throwing confetti.
Yep, and you'll see that in the video too. There's some confetti in the video. So anyway, it was a great start. Great for the team. And
I want to hit what you talked about too in there. And each of our teams are going to name their Quebedeaux player of the game, and we'll announce that on the show tonight. And one thing that the group here and that Chef John has done here at Quebedeaux is we will name a player of the week, a Quebedeaux player of the week, each week. At the end of the season, our teams will you'll have a Pineville Player of the Year, you'll have a Tioga Player of the Year, an Ash, a Menard, and a Buckeye Player of the Year. Those players will come into Quebedeaux for a little dinner, if you will, and we'll honor those guys, and then we'll name our 446 Sports Quebedeaux Player of the Year.
Awesome.
And so we're excited about that. Also working on some things for an Athlete of the Year. It can be football, soccer, basketball, bass fishing, whatever it is. We'll name that in May. We'll have our 446 Sports Quebedeaux Player of the Year. So stay tuned to do that. A couple of the highlights that stood out for you, Rich, on that game, and then we'll move to a couple of the others.
So Pineville has been trying to get into a more run-oriented offense, and they were able to do that with Sebastian Mollett picking up 95 yards on the ground for them. Quarterback obviously did some running as well, but Mollett, number 30, 18 carries, 97 yards for him. But it was Jacob Miranda who had that snatch and score, as well as an interception when Winfield was driving toward the end zone. So number 2, Jacob Miranda, with the tackles that he had, with the interception that he had, with the touchdown on defense that he had. I mean, that's what a defensive player longs for, is to be able to take that ball to the house. And in this particular case, the junior, number 2, Jacob Miranda, got to do that, and we will recognize him appropriately in just a little bit.
Yes, so Jacob Miranda from Pineville High School is the Pineville Quebedeaux Player of the Week for Week 1.
We should have Chuck
if you've got that graphic up.
Okay.
Chuck says it's Week 1 and he's working on that.
All
so
right.
we'll come back to
I
that.
sent him a picture, okay, so he should have that.
Well, the graphics are in the Google Drive, too, in that email that I sent to you. So we'll do that. We're going to take our first break of the evening. We'll give ourselves an opportunity to get settled in. When we come back, we're going to talk about Tioga's win. And John, you see how this works. Our teams didn't win, so we don't get to talk about it.
You got to earn it.
It's a pecking order that's on there. And you notice one thing, too, about the schools, and we thank them, the folks at Tioga, the folks at Pineville, the folks at Alexandria, well, anyway,
Boucher.
We thank the folks at Tioga.
Boucher has the helmet,
Boucher's got it somewhere. So we're going to take a quick break. Again, we are here at Quebedeaux. We're going to be each and every Sunday night. We're going to be talking football, high school football, and a whole lot more right here from Quebedeaux on 446 Sports.
Our mobile banking app is changing the way we bank. Things are getting easier. Transactions are getting safer. and you have access 24/7. All the functionality of banking you're used to, made easier to use, anywhere, anytime, and more secure than ever. Simple, seamless, safe. Download our mobile app today.
Buying car insurance for the first time can be overwhelming. Do you have enough coverage? Are you paying too much? Will someone be there for you when the unexpected happens? I'm Jason Hawk with Farm Bureau Insurance. You may think it's easier online, but why wait? We're here to help you make sure you're covered. When it comes to car insurance, we have the answers, and we may have rates that save you money. So talk to Hawk at 318-791-HAWK or online at talktohawk.com and let us help you protect your biggest investment.
Is your vision just not as crisp and clear as it used to be? Are you having difficulty driving, especially at night? Are you over 40 and now needing reading glasses? If so, the trusted eye care team at Wallace Eye Associates is here to help with your family's eye care needs, just like we have been for nearly 40 years. Call Wallace Eye Associates today at 318-448-4488 to schedule your next eye evaluation.
BK Distributors is proud to support high school athletics on 446 Sports. BK is the one-stop shop for trophies, banners, awards, letter jackets, and just about anything award-related. And now, welcome BK Apparel and BK Promotions to the family. For all your spirit apparel needs and anything you need to brand your business. When you think of anything you need with your name on it, think BK. Check them out on Facebook or at bkdistrib.com. BK Distributors, apparel and promotions in Pine.
Wherever you are, you're there for a reason. You shouldn't have to make a trip to the branch to deposit a check. Skip the trip and use our mobile app to easily and securely deposit checks right from your phone. Day or night, wherever you are or whatever you're doing. Download our mobile app today.
Back to Quebedeaux on a Sunday evening. It is the inaugural episode of Coach Speak. Doug Gann alongside of Rich Dupree. We talked to Billy French, talked to John Wolf, who is taking the place of Tom Boucher tonight, and we'll call in and talk to Scott Mills. Right now, though, and the pecking order is there. So, John, we have to talk about our games later in the segment.
Yeah.
That's just the way that goes. Kind of like the golf course. You guys have the honors coming out of the victory of it. So we're going to move along to Billy French. And I had to put him behind Rich because he did have everyone to beat. But we're going to put him second in this as well. So, Billy French, give us an update from high atop the reservation.
It is fantastic not only to be here, but just to have friends that have your back at all times.
Always.
Whether mistakes are made or what have you. But anyway, hey, look, Thursday night we come out and it was just electric from the get-go. Of course, you know, we were playing Bolton. We knew Bolton doesn't have the strongest team, but of course you never overlook anybody. But opening kickoff goes, kick the ball to our star player, which is Jacorian Norris, which I talked to the coaches at Bolton afterwards. A buddy of mine is, of course, coaching over there, and he said our objective was to kick it as far away from Jacorian Norris, but every time they kicked it, he went right to it. Anyway, he catches it at the 15-yard line, never within 5 yards, not a player.
Goodness.
I mean, he literally was behind a blocker, pointing out 15 yards down the way, saying, block this one, untouched into the end zone with 8 seconds taken off the clock.
And so now, did he have one in the Jamboree?
He had a 95-yarder against a very good Westgate team. Of course, that Westgate team beat Neville, and that was their starter. That was their first. You know, they had just scored a touchdown. They kicked it off to us, and he ran that one back as well. The young man has speed like you won't see. It's very deceptive, but he just makes big plays like all the time. He is that guy. As you heard Deion Sanders say about Travis Hunter yesterday, he's that guy. Jacorian Norris is that guy, and he never leaves the field. It's very similar. So, of course, We kick the ball off. They get the first possession. They first throw they make, intercepted for a touchdown. We literally had 3 touchdowns in the first, I want to say, right around 24 seconds. It was a lot going on, of course. We're excited, of course. We're trying to make everything. Ja'Cory Norris at one time had 3 touches, 3 touchdowns. His first 3 touches were touchdowns. And then not to mention, of course, then we brought in the run game. And when that happens, but we had Kenny, our number one running back was out. He got hurt a little bit in the Jamboree last week. With the whole next man up thing with Tioga, we have 4 running backs that are just ridiculously good. Kenny Ponche comes in there and just mauls over everybody. He scores touchdowns. Again, like I said, Norris had 3. We had 2 interception returns for a touchdown. Case Malone, which we'll go into the Southern Air cool play of the game a little bit later on. Case had a dime.
Cool. And you just said cool.
Yeah, well, it is.
Sorry.
If I had the legend's voice over here, it'd be a whole lot better.
Right.
Anyway, but Case had a dime to Ja'Cory a little bit later on. Then our third string running back comes in here, Medish, and he had 2 coming by. I mean, they had so much. It was hard to keep stats this week because literally we had so much substitution every drive. We showed freshmen when we needed to. We had sophomores. And, of course, our senior class is very, very strong, aside from our quarterback, which is a sophomore, Case Malone. They look great on offense, defense. The only thing that we seen that we might need to get a little tweak on, and, of course, you always tweak every week, kicking game. We've struggled a little bit with the kicking.
He's probably tired.
Yeah, well, PATs were a little rough to get to. One was a bullet, and then the next one was a flop shot, and then, but, of course, this is the first-year kicker that we have this year. But Coach Cook, and he's got to be impressed with Coach Landry's offense and Coach Mooter's defense right now because I'm telling you, they were on top of it. They were hitting people hard. Coverages were great, nothing over the top, and we just didn't give that young quarterback for Bolton even a chance to even attempt to throw anything down the field.
You guys have another new coach over there at Tioga this year. Tell me a little bit about Coach Ivy.
Yeah, very, very special year for me, Kay. Kind of give you a rundown. I'm going to try to take all the time, but Thursday I get a message. My daughter's going into labor, so I shoot down, and I know I have a game that night. I was like, okay, her water broke at like 4 a.m. Oh, she'll have the baby. Plenty enough time for me to see the baby, and then I'm shooting back here. Well, she didn't have the baby. And I was like, well, I got to go. I'm heading off at 3. I'll be back. I pull back. I pull into the football stadium. I'm talking to Chuck. We're getting set up, and what happens? She has the baby at 6:54, I believe is what it was.
Okay, but at least it was before kickoff.
So I look down on the field, and going by the coach, my son is now the defensive line coach at Tioga. Of course, he played 6 years at Southern, thanks to the redshirt freshman year and the COVID year. And, of course, I never thought I'd get him back. He's always wanted to go into coaching. He's had plenty of offers to go different places. But when Coach Cook called him up and offered him, he jumped on it, and I was super excited. It was a tough call because I'll tell you right now, it was between Tioga and Pineville. He was very tough. There was a lot of thought process and everything went in there between because he loves Coach Bell. That's his defensive coordinator for his career while he was at Tioga. And so he went up. It's nice looking down on the field and you see your son with the headset on, and he's a hype man. That's what he does. He did it while he was the captain of Southern University. He's that guy that during the pregame while they're stretching, he's high-fiving them, running them up and down, getting them excited. And it's nice to have a 24-year-old young guy that played the next level for you.
That's right.
And to teach you. And I'm telling you, it's just a special, special season for me.
Well, that's great to hear about, and we'll talk about that. Your cool play of the game was which one?
It was the cool play of the Southern Air cool play of the game was Case Malone to Ja'Cory and Norris.
So that's 2 weeks in a row that he's been part of the cool play of the game.
Correct.
So
and
very
the
good.
Quebedeaux play of the game, which we'll go over there. He's got his little mark on that as well.
Indeed, he is doing it again. We're going to jump over now, and we're going to visit with John Wolf to tell us a little bit about that rough start for Menard.
It was. And listening to Billy talk about Tioga, I thought he might be talking about the first 3 minutes of our ball game. Because that's about
okay.
we were on the other end of that. It was a tough night. Tom and I, we get in the stands on Thursday night, get a little reprieve from the heat, felt good. We were in the shade, breeze blowing. Menard had a really good scrimmage against Gina 2 weeks ago. They go in against Buckeye last week in the Jamboree, had a really good showing. Me and Tom were talking about it. Some of the coaches at the lack of mistakes they were making those last 2 weeks. And we go into St. Fred's, and St. Fred's is going to be a tough place to play. They go in there, in the first 3 minutes, we're down 3 touchdowns.
Wow.
St. Fred's takes the first play from scrimmage, 85 yards right up the middle. Kid hits the sideline, and he's gone. We get a block punt and a scoop and score, not a snatch and score, but a scoop and score, true scoop and score. Return for a touchdown. And then Mike Henry gets hit on a pass. Ball goes up in the air. Kid catches it. We have a pick six. And I look at the clock, and I think it's about 9:20 left in the first quarter.
Oh, wow.
So it was a tough night. You know, later in the second quarter, they have a 40-plus yard run for a touchdown. And then Menard does offense started kind of getting going in the second quarter. They get a good drive going down the field. Mike Henry to Jordan Rich on the sideline. Defender tried to jump the route. Mike got the ball in there quick. Jordan makes a heck of a catch with the defender in front of him, turns upfield, gets good yardage out of it. They get a 1st and goal inside the 5. We do come away with about a 23-yard field goal from Ryan Hicks. And there's about 50 seconds left in the second quarter. I said, okay, you're down 4 scores with a field goal. A little bit of momentum maybe to take you in the second half. And what do you know, St. Fred's throws about a 45-yard pass for the last play of the second quarter for a touchdown. So you go down 34-3 going into halftime, and it was rough, and that was the score. Talking about the is it Southern Air?
Cool play of the game.
Cool play of the game.
There you go. So you're training under Billy, so there you go.
That's right. Mike Henry, Jordan Rich, right there on the sideline, takes it upfield. Our player of the game, are we doing player of the game right now, too?
Yes, absolutely.
So defensive end, Drake Aldrich, number 81. I will say this about the Menard defense. When you look at St. Fred's and their quarterback, who's very mobile, and their running back, who is very fast, and they had an offensive line that was huge. Their smallest offensive line for a 1A school was 6'2", 225, was the smallest.
Gracious.
So the line of scrimmage was tough all night.
They've been hitting the transfer portal, hadn't they?
I believe so.
Wow.
I don't know what kind of NIL deals they have up in the Monroe area, but you look, Drake was a defensive end for us. Menard contained the outside. They did not let those running backs get outside of them. Up the middle was a little different story. But if Drake wasn't in on the tackle, he was taking on the lead blocker, causing chaos on the outside edge, helping Menard with that stop with that speed.
And we'll talk a little bit after our next segment. We've got games coming up on the schedule next week, and you guys, that's why I had to sit here in the middle, because you guys are going at each other.
You would make a good referee, Doug.
But honestly, really, what would you do, Doug?
I don't know. What am I going to
I'll just reach right over you, buddy.
I'm going to duck is about what I'm going to do.
Well, we do play next week and at Pineville, so it'll be a good opportunity to see again two local squads. A road trip not too bad for either one of us, and that's a great thing about being able to play some of the local schools. Just like when Pineville plays Tioga in 2 weeks, it is even closer. I mean, 5 minutes if
back-to-back weeks. That's nice, buddy.
If traffic's bad, and 3 minutes if it's not. So, but yeah, look forward to that and the opportunity to continue to push high school sports out in a way that it hadn't been done before.
Well, we're doing it out at Buckeye as well, and I think that we've got Scott Mills on the phone with us. So Scott comes into town from Texarkana, and then he makes his trip back on Sunday afternoons to go back and spend the week up there.
He's on special assignment.
He is. He's scouting up there. He comes back and shows us these scenes of these bigger fields that are up there. But, Scott, are you there with us, buddy?
Here, man.
There he is, Scott Mills, the voice of the Buckeye Panthers, that is on there. And next week we're going to have this little picture up in the corner so that you just don't see us sitting here and listening on there.
Hey, Scott, you getting ready to call the Tigers?
Oh, we actually are getting ready. We're going to have a whole house full calling them tonight.
All right, I like that. So I didn't know if they let you call the Tigers up in Arkansas, so that's good.
Well, we're gonna be watching, that's for sure.
Well, no doubt. We try to support the Hogs when they're not playing the Tigers, just to support our brother there. But Scott, you had a good game this week.
Hey, we did. Buckeye came out and pretty much asserted themselves from the beginning and built a big lead, and then just kind of cruised to victory, going over in that. The old rodeo arena turned into a football field. Coach Ben has been talking about how he wants speed, and he had tried to talk the block coach into moving that game to Buckeye. When we got over there, it was pretty obvious why the block coach didn't want to move that game, because the grass was about 6 inches high, And so it sounded like I'm not saying there was a conspiracy there, but I'm
trying to
he
slow
was
you
trying
down.
to slow them down just a little bit with that high grass. It's like a hayfield.
Well, we appreciate the yeoman's work that you're doing back and forth, coming in to call the games and do what you do on there. I know it's the second year that you've been around that Coach McLaughlin program, and he's been able to implement his system. Told us he was going to go as fast as he did. How are the kids adapting to that?
Let me tell you, Doug, one thing that was very obvious by early on in this game is these kids are buying into this system, for one. And number two, it was a team win. I mean, the defense was flying around, the offense. Any questions of this young quarterback, Brodnick, who he's a baseball player. He's never played football before until this year. And that kid looks like Joe Montana out there throwing all around. I mean, he's got quite an arm. The running game, but everybody seems to be buying, and this team's going to be fun to watch this year.
Well, we're looking forward to it. Who do you guys have next week?
Next week, we're going up to Quebedeaux to take on St. Mary's. So hopefully we'll have some room in the press box. We were in the bleachers last week.
Look, if you don't have room in that press box up there, something's wrong.
And I can
Right.
guarantee you the grass will be, trimmed to perfection. So.
Well, that's good because I think I'm still sneezing from the grass out there on Friday.
Well,
But a good win for the Panthers. It was a fun win. Lou is going to be our player of the game. He had 5 touchdowns, and he's also part of cool play of the game as well. And it's more not so much the run, but his little attitude into the run that I really liked. He just kind of let everybody know that he was the man on the field the other night.
well, we're looking forward to big things out of that, and that will be he was part of the cool play and is the Quebedeaux player of the game, the Southern Air. So I don't know if you heard, if you were listening a little earlier when Billy announced it. Billy, tell him how it's supposed to go.
That is the Southern Air cool play of the game.
See?
All right, we need to record that so we can play that
So,
before we
yeah,
announce it each week.
Exactly. So we'll have it. All right, Scott, we're going to let you go and get ready to do what you guys have to do over there, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right, go Panthers.
There you go. Scott Mills joining us here on Coach Speak. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to visit with Brett McCormick just for a minute and see what's going around the way. We'll start talking about next week's game, see if we're able to get our cool play of the game up on there, and we'll do all of that right after this. You're watching Coach Speak right here live from Quebedeaux on 446 Sports.
Our mobile banking app is changing the way we bank. Things are getting easier, transactions are getting safer, and you have access 24/7. All the functionality of banking you're used to, made easier to use, anywhere, anytime, and more secure than ever. Simple, seamless, safe. Download our mobile app today.
Buying car insurance for the first time can be overwhelming. Do you have enough coverage? Are you paying too much? Will someone be there for you when the unexpected happens? I'm Jason Hawk with Farm Bureau Insurance. You may think it's easier online, but why wait? We're here to help you make sure you're covered. When it comes to car insurance, we have the answers, and we may have rates that save you money. So talk to Hawk at 318-791-HAWK or online at talktohawk.com and let us help you protect your biggest investment.
Is your vision just not as crisp and clear as it used to be? Are you having difficulty driving, especially at night? Are you over 40 and now needing reading glasses? If so, the trusted eye care team at Wallace Eye Associates is here to help with your family's eye care needs, just like we have been for nearly 40 years. Call Wallace Eye Associates today at 318-448-4488 to schedule your next eye evaluation.
BK Distributors is proud to support high school athletics on 446 Sports. BK is the one-stop shop for trophies, banners, awards, letter jackets, and just about anything award-related. And now, welcome BK Apparel and BK Promotions to the family. For all your spirit apparel needs and anything you need to brand your business. When you think of anything you need with your name on it, think BK. Check them out on Facebook or at bkdistrib.com. BK Distributors, Apparel and Promotions in Pine.
Wherever you are, you're there for a reason. You shouldn't have to make a trip to the branch to deposit a check. Skip the trip and use our mobile app to easily and securely deposit checks right from your phone, day or night, wherever you are or whatever you're doing. Download our mobile app today.
Back to Quebedeaux on a Sunday evening. Doug Gann alongside of Rich Dupree, Billy French, John Wolf, who stepped off for a moment. And we will be here each and every Sunday evening, normally at 6 o'clock, normally from 6 to 7. Backed it up for that little tussle that's about to happen down in Orlando.
Yes.
But we appreciate Chef John and all of the crew here at Quebedeaux for opening up their doors to us. And they are providing our Quebedeaux player of the game for each broadcast. At the end of the year, we will name a Quebedeaux player of the year. Could be any of our squads, and Jacorian looks like he's out to an early contest, or an early head start. If you saw that cool play of the game from Alexandria Senior High School and that one-handed catch,
yes,
probably one of the best catches that I think I've ever seen from Amirion Mingo that went up and got it one-handed, and we slow-mode that, and you were able to see.
You've seen was he holding the stick guy?
Yeah.
And he was in shock. He was like, my goodness.
And he was right in front of it. And there have been several angles that have been put off of that, but that was one of the bright spots. Mingo gets a couple of touchdowns in the game, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. But somebody that's doing some coverage and doing some other things is here with us, and it's Brett McCormick. He has 1T Photography, and he does some writing with the Rapides Parish Journal that's out there, which is a new entity as well, and we certainly support that. But, Brett, welcome aboard.
Thank you for the invite. Glad to be here.
Absolutely. So, you're able to go back and look at some of these broadcasts and stat, and that helps you do what you're doing with the Journal.
Yeah, like I told you, this is invaluable for what I'm doing because, like, it's one thing to call a coach and say, hey, coach, what happened? It's another to be able to go and see it with your own eyes. You know, it helps add color to my writing. You know, I know what happens in these games. And so Thursday night I went out to the Tioga game, and then I went home and rewatched the Tioga game and statted it, and then watched the Menard game. And then Friday I went out of town, but I came back, I watched the Pineville and the Ash. And that allows me, when I write my story, to really, it's like I was there.
Well, we're a lot of great words out there, too, from him. And I know you guys had some questions for Brett as well. Rich?
Oh, what I really appreciate about Brett is that he's been a contributor on the sports scene for a long time, former sports editor of the Town Talk back when the Town Talk used to cover sports. And
oh, sorry. I thought that was.
I mean,
that is what he said. What he said is what it is.
That's true. It's not a joke.
No,
it's
but it's
true.
Still.
It's a fact.
I've just been waiting all year to do that.
But you know, also he is a basketball official, officiates college and high school basketball too. So he has a unique perspective on sports, but he's also a fantastic photographer. And so I guess I want to go from the standpoint of you know, going from being in the press box where you cover games for so many years as a reporter to actually now being on the sidelines, what you see, what you hear, how different is that for you?
It's completely different it gives me a perspective from what I hear differently, having access to coaches and the players, and I mean, they interact with me all the time. But I feel like I miss so much, especially trying to stat. You know, yeah. I'm used to, for my whole career, I watched from the press box, and that's where I was, and I saw everything. And that's kind of how I prefer to watch football. But being on the sideline is, man, you hear, and I told Coach Cook after the game, man, like you just heard the hits on the field. The guys were flying around, and so I enjoy that, being right there on top of it. I almost got run over by Bradley Riccardi.
Yeah.
He got blocked into me, literally hit my arm, came up and apologized to me.
Did he?
Yeah.
He's a good kid. He really is a good kid.
So it's definitely a different perspective being down there.
Yeah, it's a different sound. And you do, being up in the press box, we miss a lot of stuff. That's why we love our ambiance mics and all that, to be able to kind of hear, but you still don't get the full effect that you do. But you do on the sideline, you're going to miss a few things here and there. But when you get the feeling of the emotion of the young men out there that's playing, because they're super hyped up for this, especially pregame. And you get to go down there and kind of walk that. You're seeing the coaches talking, pumping up these young men. It's a whole different atmosphere, and now that you get to see all that, of course, I'm like you. I prefer, if I'm going to get a full scope of the game, I like to be above it.
Right.
I like to see, because you see blocks that might not be seen down there unless you're specifically looking for them over the pass. I mean, especially on the pass, like, say, one of our pass, the Malone to Norris. It was just over the top and just an absolute dime, beautifully dropped, that you might not be able to get to see the full.
Yeah, you see the play develop from up top.
Right.
Even as a fan, when I go watch a football game, as a fan, I try to sit up. I prefer to see the all 22 angle. That's how I prefer to consume football.
Yeah.
But being down there, especially after a touchdown, just the excitement. A lot of the kids, they know who you are, and so they're looking for the camera. They're posing. They're trying to find the KLB or me or whoever, because they're, it's their time to shine.
446 Sports.
True. But I mean, they're wanting that, that FaceTime immediately afterwards, and so it's fun. I've been able to develop some relationships with coaches and players, and social media and everything, and it's a lot of fun. I enjoy doing it.
Tell us real quick where they can find your photos and your articles.
So the easiest place for my photos is go to facebook.com/1T Photography. That's ONET Photography. And then the Rapides Parish Journal is rapidesparish.journal.com. I do a preview each week of the games and then do a recap. The recap runs on Mondays. The preview runs on either Thursday or Friday, depending on if we have Thursday games.
Brett, we appreciate the work that you do, and thank you for stopping by.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
There you go. Going to take our final break of the evening. It's a 60-second commercial. When we come back, we'll wrap things up. We'll talk about our cool plays of the game, our players of the game, and we'll talk about next week's game. We'll do all of that in about a 10-minute stretch and get you ready for that kickoff of LSU and Florida State, and we'll do it after this. So immediately from inside my ear, I'm hearing
Is that where you heard it?
That's where I heard it. Yeah. Well, Chuck, you're the producer. You take us to the break.
Receivers. That's Reeves is the fullback.
Well, it went away, but that sounds like
hey,
Billy.
Everybody. That's a good-looking dude right there.
All right, so this is the Tioga one. That's that Case Malone to Ja'Cory and Norris play. That was the Tioga Southern Air Cool play. Is that right, Billy?
That is correct. That is the 29-yarder right over the top right there.
Receivers. That's Reeves.
Get to see it again here. We'll do it in slow motion.
What a throw
this
by
beautiful
Case
drop.
Malone to Ja'Cory and Norris.
Yeah, that's right on the money, and that's the sophomore Case Malone that did that. And we'll see which one that he has here. Go ahead, get us to the break, Chuck, and we'll be back here in 60 seconds. You're watching Coach Speak on 446 Sports live from Quebedeaux.
Our mobile banking app is changing the way we bank. Things are getting easier, transactions are getting safer, and you have access 24/7. All the functionality of banking you're used to, made easier to use, anywhere, anytime, and more secure than ever. Simple, seamless, safe. Download our mobile app today.
Buying car insurance for the first time can be overwhelming. Do you have enough coverage? Are you paying too much? Will someone be there for you when the unexpected happens? I'm Jason Hawk with Farm Bureau Insurance. You may think it's easier online, but why wait? We're here to help you make sure you're covered. When it comes to car insurance, we have the answers, and we may have rates that save you money. So talk to Hawk at 318-791-HAWK or online at talktohawk.com and let us help you protect your biggest investment.
And we are back to Quebedeaux here in Pineville to wrap things up for us. Got to talk about the next week's games coming up. Of course, Alexandria hits the road back down south, I-49. They go to St. Thomas More. Difficult place to go down and play. We're down there last year as well.
And that was originally scheduled to be a home game.
It was, but the turf
just want to make
is
sure
not quite installed
Okay.
all of the way. Should be here middle of the week Wednesday, or in middle of the week Wednesday, when Ash is able to have their first home game and they welcome in Jess Curtis and the Chiefs of Natchitoches Central.
Okay.
So they'll be able to make it in. So yes, this is back-to-back weeks. Hopefully this week has a little bit better outcome than Friday night did when the Trojans lose 46-26. But it did provide for some really great things. Ty Feaster, first-year quarterback, he throws for 4 touchdowns in that game, 312 yards. The only thing is the Trojans counterpart, Chance Babineau. And I said that name over and over, Chance Babineau, Chance Babineau, Chance Babineau. Sophomore already has an offer from the Wolverines of Michigan. Kid's going to be something. He's 6 foot tall, 180 pounds, and will be, you mark this down today, in the class of 20, whatever it is, 2 years from now, 26, will be the #1 dual threat quarterback out of the state of Louisiana and will be one of the top ones in the country. And you say you could tell them that you heard it right here. But Ash, thank you. There you go. Ash goes back down I-49 to St. Thomas More. You'll get used to the Chuckisms as we go along. John, who do you guys have this week? Not that I don't already know.
We got the Pineville Rebels.
Uh-oh.
Imagine that.
So that's going to be – and so last year, Menard came out on top on that one, right?
They did.
And this time – Chuck's playing now, and he knows that we don't have time for that. Pineville, we just heard you're going over to or you're hosting Menard in there. What do you build off of from the week Friday night going into week 2?
Well, you build off of 2 things. One, last year was last year, so that's
See,
gone.
Wisdom.
But I think you continue to build off of a great foundation that began with a win over Winfield and put confidence into your team, and you come out and keep executing your game plan and hope that Menard, might still be licking their wounds from last week. So.
There you go.
Because
there's a gauntlet laid down there a little bit.
All I'm saying is that they got their bell rung by Coach Billy Bell last week, and they may get their bell rung by another.
See how he
this
does
week.
this? That's what it is.
In your
And
face.
then you said, wait a minute.
Ding, ding, ding.
If you said, look, well, we're going to take their head coach and bring him over here and put him in charge of our defense over at Pineville too. So you brought Justin Charles over.
Sure did. And so if you think there's any motivation at all on that side of the ball, you are right. So
Absolutely. That's why we call this show Coach Speak, because we'll say a lot of things that the coaches won't know.
Yeah, they're politically correct.
We want to be
We're not gonna do that.
fundamentally sound. We want to come out and blah, 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 block and tackle and all that nonsense. Not here.
We coming for you.
Billy, who do the Indians have this
We
week?
travel down south to Breaux Bridge. Now,
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we played them last year. We ended up getting the win last year. We won a fun game. It was very equally two teams that were very equally matched up with the offense and the defense. So I'm super excited about this. It should be a fun night in Breaux Bridge.
And then not to get too far ahead, because coaches don't like to look far ahead on the schedule.
Oh, I can't wait to play Rich Dupree and them. I'm already looking. I'm not a coach. I cannot wait. I already asked him what kind of meal he wanted when he comes down, because I'm gonna be as welcoming as I can right before that butt whooping we're gonna give you.
somehow I find that hard to believe that they're going to be welcoming and give us a butt whipping. So.
Look, they were very friendly at Karen Crow until kickoff.
Yeah,
and
that's how
when
it works.
things went downhill. Here's a story for you, Billy, from a couple of years back when I worked with the then chief of staff for the city of Pineville, now current mayor of Pineville. I told him, I said, look, it came down to the Ash-Tioga game, and I said, let's make a bet on the outcome of this game. I said, if Pineville wins, I'll wear a Pineville shirt to work. If Ash wins, you got to wear an Ash shirt to work. He's like, Doug, you wear Pineville shirts every day to work. I was like, now, don't confuse the facts with my story on there.
We can work out something later on next week. We'll him and I will talk about something. We'll do something good, a little friendly little competition going.
That is going to be a great one. That's further down the schedule. We are in the non-district side of it, of course, just week 1. Week 1 is in the books. Some big games come up. Real quickly, we're going to hit our players of the game one more time. They are the Quebedeaux player of the game, and they will be in the running for the Quebedeaux player of the year. So, Billy from Tioga, what did you have?
Jacorian Norris will be our Quebedeaux player of the game. Had 3 touches, and that's about all he had to do. He was done for the day about that point. But just played, never left the field, offense, defense. Heck of a cornerback, but just a kickoff specialty and a wide receiver. So Jacorian Norris is our Quebedeaux player of the game.
And there you see him on the screen. So great job, Chuck, of getting that up. That's the Quebedeaux player of the game, Jacorian Norris. Rich?
Our Quebedeaux player of the game was a young man that had 2 fumble recoveries, had a snatch and score for a touchdown, and also had an interception. He's a junior, number 2, Jacob Miranda. So congratulations to number 2, Jacob Miranda. He was our Quebedeaux player of the game for week number 1.
And you see that young man on there. For the Alexandria Trojans, there was no question about it. Scored a couple of touchdowns on the day. Does a lot of things, but the one-handed catch, and I need you to go back and watch that. It is gotten a lot of views off our YouTube channel, and we put a lot of these plays up on there. If you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, and how much does it cost to subscribe to that?
That's a goose egg, $0.
Absolutely zero, and you can watch it anytime. You can go to one game, you can watch another game on your iPhone, and you can go home and watch it. You can do whatever you want to. But Amarion Mingo, 7 catches, 65 yards, 2 touchdowns, and the best catch of this early season, the one-handed in the back of the end zone, falling out of bounds, and he gets that. And they call him My Mingo, and I understand why, because I was like, my, what a catch that was. Over at Menard, John, what do you have?
Got number 81, Drake Aldridge, defensive end, senior, on the edge of that Eagles defense. And if he wasn't making all the tackles on the edge, he was involved in them, taking out the blockers.
The picture of the young man must be with y'all's helmet.
Must be. Probably in the back of Boucher's vehicle.
Is that where that's at? Well, congratulations, and we'll get him up. And then, Chuck, go ahead and put the young man Burlew accounted for 5 touchdowns for Buckeye. If we can get that one up on the screen as well. You see them. And a couple of these pictures have that little 1T photography watermark on them, too. So we appreciate the work that Brett does getting those pictures up there. So all 5 of these young men will get recognition from this week, and they are in the running. I don't know. It's going to be hard to take it away from Jacorian Norris out in Tioga, because he seems to do just about everything.
He never leaves the field. It's a benefit for sure.
Indeed.